Hello and welcome. Good to be with everybody again. Welcome to the Weighted to Win show. It's great to have Daryl Marie and Darren Burrows joining me, and certainly looking forward to the 10 races on offer in the Western Cape. There's been some glorious racing out there in Cape Town over the last few weeks, and trust me, heading up into the Met, it's going to be a proper race meeting coming up, and we're really looking forward to that. Not forgetting about the social media strap. We'd love to engage with you, all up on your screen at the moment, so you can join us and pop us a message. It's all about improving the product, and we'd love to hear from you. All right, so I'm going to go to my guest quickly. I'm going to chat to Daryl Marie, and then we'll go to Darren Burrows on the line. Daryl, thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, having a look at this program, it does look to be competitive, but as I open up the show, I mean, heading up into the Met, it's going to be a proper few weeks going into the Met.
Yeah, I look forward to the next couple of weeks, Brandon.
We need a float, Daryl.
Well, let's try build our float today. We're not going to be doing that in the first race because it's littered with first-timers. We don't know anything. All I can suggest is to the viewers out there is follow the betting and the canter post and make up your mind thereafter. So we're going to be heading straight into the second race, the first leg of the Bipot.
All right, so yeah, what I'm going to do is jump straight into that. As you heard from Daryl Marie, the first race, there's quite a few first-timers, and we need to watch them go down to the start. So we'll start off with race number 2, the first leg of the Bipot being a 10-race program. The money number 1, Go Like Flow at 5-2, 11 La Pura Vidas at 9-2, 2 Egrets at 5-1, 3 Simply Beautifuls at 5-1, and at 6-1 and Better Bar those. So I'm going to bring Darren Burrows onto the show. Darren, thank you very much. I know you've been in good form over the last few meetings. This does look to be a competitive race to open up the Bipot.
Yes, Brandon, it is a bit competitive early on in the card, but I think there's a couple of nice strikes later on in the card, which we'll get to a bit later. Race 2 on the card, I thought La Pura Vida should improve from that last effort. It was her first run in the Western Cape, wasn't disgraced. You got a horse like Go Like Flow, only had the 2 starts, improving with each start, should be right there. And then Egret and Simply Beautiful are always thereabouts.
All right, yeah, it does look to be quite an open race. So we'll go to Daryl Marie and see if he can help us. Daryl, good to see that Ryan Munger's got the opportunity here on Go Like Flow. 2 good runs to date. Surely one of the leading lights.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that. I think if he gets a doctor's certificate, he's able to ride because he didn't ride at Fairview today. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, I know I did speak to Ryan. I know he's been feeling a little bit muggy over the last few days. It's nothing serious. I think it's all just in the nose at the moment. But precautions, you're right. If he does get that letter, he should be able to ride on Saturday.
Okay, well, I'm hoping he does because I'm bankering him in the first leg of the Bipot. I was very impressed with her second start. She lost a good 2 or 3 lengths at the start, and she stayed on extremely well. I think she'll appreciate the step up to the 6 furlongs, and I think she's learned from her first 2 runs. So she's got more scope for improvement than Egret and Simply Beautiful. So I'm happy in bankering her in the first leg of the Bipot.
All right, yeah, it does look to be quite a trappy start to that Bipot. You perhaps maybe want to go a good 2 or 3 horses just to make sure that you're safe. Let's go and see what we're doing with selections over here. Start is race number 2 of this Bipot. Leg 1, Daryl Marie's gone Banker 1, Go Like Flow. Leg 2, 1, 7, 9 and 13. Leg 3, 1 and 4. Leg 4, 1, 2, 3 and 9. By 1, 2, 5, 8 and 9. And the last leg of the Bipot, 2, 5, 14 and 15. And the spend is 640 Rand. We're on to the first leg of the place accumulator. It starts 9, race number 3. The market has your leader at 16-10, number 1, Rosh Kadesh. 7, Rainbow Colors at 11-2. 15, the Wolf of Wolseley's at 11-2. And it's 6-1 and Better Bar those. I'm going to start with Darren Burrows on the line. Darren, what can you tell us about this first timer? You are in Cape Town. You're based in Cape Town. What's the word on the ground?
Really help there because I was trying to get hold of a person or two about the horse and I haven't been able to as yet on Friday. So Rosh Kadesh, yes, he open favorite. There's been a bit of support for him. He could well be the right horse. He's got a lovely pedigree. He is drawn 1. I've got a runner here, Culp Forest. Now we expected a bit more from him on debut. But then again, he was drawn 1 out of 13 and he moved up at the 400 and all the outside horses overtook. if you saw, Rainbow Colors was one of the favorites in that race. He finished alongside Culp Forest down the inside. There was only half a length separating them at the line. And Rainbow Colors, that was a below par performance. So I'm hoping for improvement with Culp Forest. Rainbow Colors is one for the shortlist, and the obvious one, the first timer of Canamaz.
All right, yeah, we'll have to just wait and see if we can get the lowdown and what this horse is doing back at home, Rosh Kadesh. We don't know too much for now. This is a pre-recorded show on a Friday, so we will try and keep you up to speed. Darren, let's go and have a look at what are we going to do over here? I mean, the Wolf of Worsley, there was a bit of money and talk about this horse last time out. Daryl, I know that it was hard up on the outside, showed a bit of pace, and just that last bit got stuck a bit. But what are we expecting in this race? I mean, obviously everything hinges on the first timer, doesn't it?
Yes, there's a comment in the front of the book, Brendan. It said, include in exotics. His half brother by Captain Al won 2 races, a mile and 1800. I'm sure you recall him, Shadow Creek, Mark the Cock trading. But watch the betting. Number 13, listen to this, Brendan. Number 13 is Noble City. He's a half brother to the Grade 1 winning Battle Force. They've booked the services of Richard Free. I think that speaks volumes. I know this was number 9. Barn Bugle is very exposed, but I think he's better over the 6 furlongs. He's got that racing experience and he's got pace. So I've got a few horses in the first leg of the place accumulator.
All right, yeah, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to try and see what these first-timers are doing at home. I think that's the only way we'll be able to find a winner over here. Let's go into the selections and see what we're going to do with the first leg of the place accumulator. Daryl Marie's been kind enough to tip us a pair. He's gone 1, 7, 9, and 13. By Banker 4, by 1, 2, 3, and 9, by 1, 5, and 9, by 2 and 15, by 1 and 5, by 6, 7, and 9, and the spend is 576 Rand. We're on to race number 4, and it's the big one of the afternoon. I think the pool will be quite good. It is the first leg of the pick 6. It's over 1,600 meters, and it goes off at 1350. I just want to have a look quickly and see what the market's doing over here. I think very important. You Cracked Me Up, number 9 at 15-4. 11 Busy Lizzie's at 9-2. It's 6-1 and better bar those. Let's go to Darren Burrows. Darren, what can you tell us about the first leg of the pick 6? You Cracked Me Up. I thought that was a decent debut performance.
Yes, Brandon, I heard a lot of talk about You Crack Me Up. I've heard a lot of confidence. This horse hasn't run in 11 months, but above average is what I hear. So she could well make a winning return. I think she's going to love the step up in trip. Her dam was a bit of a stayer. So she could make a winning return. She will be my first choice. Second choice, Busy Lizzie. I think she'll love the step up to a mile. She's coming on the right way. And then for third, Supreme Dream and Medler's Tart.
All right, so that's pretty much what Darren Burrows likes. Like I say, if you look past this horse, You Cracked Me Up, it's quite an open race. Daryl, what do you like over here? Obviously, you heard the talk's quite strong on You Cracked Me Up. Does need to improve a couple of lengths, but I think that natural improvement's there.
Yeah, if I recall this filly going down to start on debut, she didn't move well. I'm really keen to see how she goes. She's been put away and straight back into a mile. I think that suggests that she's fit enough. But Brandon, I think in a special weights event, I found some value in number 4 over here, the Stable Companion, Supreme Dream. Now, I watched her latest replay. When she switched out, she absolutely took off. And I think that race would have certainly brought her on. She's going to strip fitter. I'm hoping she's slightly closer to the pace this time round. And I'm expecting her to go very, very close. Number 1, Medler's Tart. Blinkers have been removed. We've seen that form line being franked with Destined to Dance and Chelsea Garden winning indirectly. She's got a neat draw, 56 to shoulder in a special weights event. From a 1 draw, there's a lot in her favour. She should be thereabouts.
All right, so there we go. It does look to be quite an open race. We've seen these sort of events surprise us once or twice in the past, but you've heard it from the guys, and let's jump into those selections and see what we're doing with the first leg of the pick 6. Darren Burrows has gone wide. 1, 2, 4, 9, 11, 12, and 13 in the first leg of the pick 6. Second leg, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. By 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9. By 2, 5, 6, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, by 1 and 5, by banker 9, and the spend is 3,360 Rand. All right, the first jackpot, it begins now in race number 5. I'm just having a look at the market quickly. Number 4 is at 5-2. Keegan DeMello gets the ride for Dean Canema, and that does look to be one of the leading lights over here. Just a quick reminder about the social media. Again, you can pop us a message. It's all about improving the product, and we'd love to have you on board. That's what it's all about. We're here to tip your winners, and we're all here to make some sort of a profit. The 1 is at 33-10, 3 Fort Reds at 4-1, the 9 Masked Vigilante is at 6-1, and it's 7-1 in better bar those. I'm going to go to Darren Burrows. Darren, if memory serves me correct, I think you guys labelled this horse last time out. The 4 horse, Ponte Pietra, Dean Canema, Keegan DeMello. I thought won a very good race, and surely with that natural improvement could be hard to beat.
The drop in trip's the only concern for me, because I think he's a horse looking for a mile. So he returns after a bit of a break, 1,200. The Kenilworth 1,200 is a testing 1,200, so he will be running on to them. Axel got a reputation. His comeback run was good, over 1,000. He has been disappointing, though. And I'm looking for improvement with Masked Vigilante. This horse had ability early, and if he can't produce off a 72, then they've got problems.
Okay, yeah, I think a lot will hinge on the fact of the 4 Ponte Pietra. Let's watch this one go down to the start, because I think he's way above average. And you heard from Darren that Axel also, a horse that I believe shows a lot back at home, just needs to bring it to the racetrack. Daryl, what can you tell us over here? I mean, I watched this horse Axel last time, had quite a bit of ground to make up, and word is he works nicely back at home. So if he can show that work at the races, must be a runner.
Absolutely. I think he's certainly going to strip fitter, and he's going to appreciate the 6 furlongs. I think he's better over the 6, Brandon. You touched on a key point over here. Watch Ponte Pietra move down to the start, because he doesn't move well. He sweats up terribly. He's not going to give you confidence if you watch him in the canter pass. Masked Vigilante, if you told me a few months ago he's going to be a 72, I would have said you're crazy, because I thought this was talented and he's going to go through the divisions, but he's let the side down. He's got ability, but he's not putting it together. I think of this mark, he has to be competitive. Otherwise, he might just end up with Alan Creef in the Eastern Cape, and he'll put a tongue tie on. I think some value in number 2, Lang's Power. He needed his comeback start as a gelding. It was too short for him, 1,000 meters. Then from a wide draw, he was never in contention. Back up the straight, the blinkers get fitted. Course and distance, ideal, and he's down to a 72. I'm going to say that 2 is some value in race number 5.
All right. Yeah, it does look to be a good race. Let's see what happens. I think there's 1 or 2 horses here that, like Daryl and Darren have said, they might just go through the divisions, and they might be off a workable mark at the moment. Let's go and see what we're doing with selections. It is the first jackpot. Daryl Marie's gone 1, 2, 3, and 9 in the first leg, by 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9 in the second leg, by 2, 5, 6, 14, 15, by 1, 2, 3, and 5, and the spend is 400 Rand. Let's move along. Let's go to race number 6. Again, a competitive race. You don't want to sound like a stuck record, but certainly some competitive racing on the Saturday afternoon. I just want to give you the market as it stands at the moment. Remember, this is a pre-recorded show, and things can change right up until race time. Number 9, Gladiatorium, is at 22-10. Number 2, Bright Green at 7-2, and it's 5-1 and better bar those. All right, we'll start with Darren Burrows. Darren, Dennis Dreyer got a strong hand over here. Gladiatorium. Richard Ferree's been booked to ride. Is this the horse they need to beat?
Well, strictly on ratings, Gladiatorian and Bright Green are very well in. But then again, I'm not sure if Gladiatorian's achieved that rating. I know he ran 5th in the Gold Medallion, but I'm not too sure how strong that's going to hold up. His comeback run in September was 2nd behind Imposing. I thought a bit disappointing. Maybe didn't stay the 14. He's got to go into your bets. Bright Green, I thought the 1,000's a bit on the sharp side. He'll be staying on. I thought a horse like Hammy's Hero. Now, he's entered for the Cape Flying Championships, so they obviously rate him quite highly. His penultimate start, 2 lengths off Weird Jamming, only receiving 2 kilos. He could well go close in this lineup. I included 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, look, I think there's one or two horses over here that can certainly run. I know this horse, Bright Green, has always been held in high regard. It's probably on the short side for him, but I think he's got plenty ability. Daryl, very open race. I mean, a horse like Ragnar Lothbroke also had hard luck stories in his career. There's a few over here that can certainly run. What do you like?
I don't know what to make of it because the computer form comment for Gladiatorian says may need. He certainly did too much in his later starts over the 1400. Back in 1000, he may get away with it. But the drier runners seem to have needed a run or two in the Western Cape. But he's rated to certainly go close, along with Bright Green, who this appears to be on the sharp side for him, but he's got ability and he'll be doing his best work late. Hammy's Hero, much better up the straight. He should bounce back to his best. Lunacam, he has a horse on his day. He's very, very good. I think having his peak run in the Western Cape, he's gonna be right there. I'm gonna say he's a current value in the race. And then you can't discount Paroshka. So I think it's a small but competitive lineup. I'm unsure on how to read this race, Brandon.
It's a trappy event. Very, very trappy event. Like I say, Dennis Dryer's obviously got a strong hand, but there's a few horses over here that can certainly run. Let's go and see what we're doing with selections when it comes to this particular race. Race number 6, a quartet boxed 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Quartet boxed, and that'll cost you 360 Rand. All right, so we go on to race number 7, and again, it looks to be super competitive. I'm going to give you the markets, and then we'll go and join Daryl and Darren. Race number 7, 14, She's My Captain at 9-2, 15, Alende's at 5-1, and at 7-1 about the 2 Body Electric. It's 8-1 and better bar those. Let's start with Darren Burrows. Darren, I really like this horse Alenda. I know it took quite some time to win that last race. I think it was a well-deserved win because been very competitive and super consistent in its career. Can it go on from here now, Lende?
She is my first choice, Brandon. I thought, this filly doesn't stay. And her damn Valdivia was an out-and-out speedster. So the drop-in trip with the cheek pieces last time out, she was a runaway winner. And I don't think the 1,000's going to be a problem. I think it might suit her. So I'm going to favor Alende to follow up. Dangers would be She's My Captain. That form line of her last start's holding up. Body Electric, not out of it. And Jury Duty of the rest.
Yeah, I think we also need to watch the Adam Marcus train Jury Duty over here, who must have some sort of a chance in what looks to be quite an open race. Daryl, very open. I mean, like I said, Alende. How many times we went for Alende? Finally, last time I'd got it right. I know there were 1 or 2 issues with the favourite down at the gates. I think it was the Mike de Kock trained horse that got scratched down at the start. But all things being equal, she won a good race.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think she beat the strongest of lineups because of that favourite being taken out the start. But she was super impressive. I mean, Louis couldn't hold her going through the 400. She was travelling so well. So I'm not concerned about the drop to 1,000 meters. I do believe there's pace on the outside with the likes of Fashion Mistress, and She's My Captain. I'm hoping she can just slot in behind and get a toe through. And she could go back to back because we've always known that she's got ability. But I was very impressed with number 2's latest victory, Body Electric. She travelled sweetly in that race. She was never in doubt. Another one that I don't believe the drop to 5 furlongs will be an issue, and I think she's better than what she's currently rated. She won early on in her career and then went flat. So now I think she's finally found her feet. She's off a good mark, and I think she could notch up another victory. If you like her chances, you have to fancy number 5 over here, Pork de Fuss, who in her later start was very unruly. I don't think she wanted to go down to the start. She was playing up, so you can just put a line through that. And on the Trumpy run, I certainly give her upset claims over here. But I think Body Electric and Lende to fight it out with Pork de Fuss, a nice inclusion for the trifecta.
All right, yeah. Daryl's found us some value over there. The Ryan Munger ride of number 5 for the Mike Stewart yard. So let's watch how that goes down to the start. Let's go and see what we're doing with selections over here when it is race number 7. It is the start of Jackpot 2, so please don't forget about that. 2, 5, 6, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15 for Darren Burrows in the first leg of Jackpot 2 by 1 and 5, by Banker 9, by 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and the spend is 96 Rand. Good race. Race number 8 goes off at about 4:15, and the 2-1 favourite is a horse that's in good form, Silvano's Dasher. Number 1, the 5, Emilienza Yoka de Dumas at 7-2, 15-2 about number 3, See It Again, and it's 9-1 and better bar those. It's a great race. Really looking forward to this. So let's go and join Darren Burrows. Darren, Silvano's Dasher, a horse that's been in good form, and then Emilienza Yoka de Duma has certainly improved since going to the Western Cape.
Yes, Brandon, I've been a big fan of the horse Silvano's Dasher. And you know what? His best form has come over 1,400 meters. When he went a mile, he ran third to Emilienza Yoka de Duma. He's a kilo better off. But he lost ground at the start. He moved up at the 300 and found nothing the final 100. He put that run behind him last time out, beating Quasi for sure, who came out to win as he liked next time out. And from a one draw, he's probably going to go handy. He's going to have every chance. I think he's a better horse than Emilienza Yoka de Duma over 1,400. If it was a mile, I would lean towards number 5. But being over 14, I'm going Silvano's Dasher to beat Emilienza Yoka de Duma.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a great race, obviously, to watch. Silvano's Dasher, Emilienza Yoka de Duma, they seem to be the horses that the punters will focus on. Daryl, a great race. Obviously, Emilienza Yoka de Duma ran a cracking race last time out behind Nexus, who went on to get beaten a short head by Rascallion. And that was on King's Plate Day, I think, in the Premier's Trophy. So he's got some strong form lines. I know he's got plenty of ability. Will they fight it out?
It appears to be the case. Brandon, you know, this horse buried me, Emilienza Yoka de Duma. I watched his comeback start with Richard Free when he was drawn wide at Scottsville. I said he can't miss next time out. Took out a loan, still paying it off, and he buried me, like I said. I thought off at 82, he was a certainty. Look what he's off now, 100, and I'm still saying he's going to be competitive. So that just tells you my form. Yes, over 1,400, I favour Silvano's Dasher. If it was a mile, I'd also be in Darren's camp that Emilienza Yoka de Duma would be my topic. But, you know, the son of Silvano is getting better with racing. He's got Keegan de Mello from a gun draw. He should get the run of the race. But he did pick up a 4 kilogram penalty for winning his later starts. A horse that I think will get much closer to him this time round, and I know he's well exposed and he's getting on with it, is number 2, My Bestie. But he's better when he goes handy. And last time out from a tricky draw, they opted to give him a chance. He was doing good work late, and he meets Silvano's Dasher 4.5 kilograms better off, and he's got a neat draw this time around. I think they're going to push forward. If you're playing a trifecta and a quartet, Brandon, include number 2, My Bestie. But yes, I'm in Darren's camp of yes. Silvano's Dasher, the one to beat. Emilienza Yoka de Duma and My Bestie to fill in the trifecta position.
No mention of See It Again? I mean, See It Again's a very nice horse.
Absolutely.
Canadian Summers come from that form
Yes.
line. Of course, Captain Casey, I think the horse's name is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's got to be a mention. I know that between yourself and Clyde, you've been singing the praises of this horse, See It Again.
I'll tell you why. He now goes the left-hand bend for the first time. Up the Gravel Straights, he seemed to hit a flat spot. I thought he was doing his best work late in the latter stages. I'm worried about the 1,400. If it was a mile or 1,800, I'd give him a stronger winning chance. I'm not ruling him out, though.
Okay. All right, well, there we go. I think it's quite an open race. I'm going Emilienza Yoka de Duma. Obviously, I think Silvano's Dash will be there as well. Let's see what we're doing with selections. It's going to be a great race to watch this. Exacta boxed 1 and 5. Silvano's Dasher, Emilienza Yoka de Duma, 1 and 5. 10 Rand will give it to you 5 times. Get involved. Race number 8 goes off at 4:15. We move along to the penultimate, race number 9. Favourites 33 to 10. Number 9, Time Flies. Cabello Matsanyane has been booked to ride for Brett Crawford. Number 1, Do Angels Cries at 5 to 1. 7, Bye Bye Bombshell. An interesting story behind Bye Bye Bombshell at 5 to 1. And at 7 to 1 in Better Bar those. All right, so we're going to go and join Darren Burrows. Darren, what do you like over here? I went for this horse Gold Poker Game last time out, and I see 7 to 1 today. That's not a bad price with no weight on the back.
She's one of the leading lights, but she was disappointing. I thought she had beat a horse like Love is a Rose last time out. I've banked this horse Time Flies in my bets, my pick 6 as well. I think she's ahead of the handicapper. Last time out, I actually labelled her. She shortened from, I think, 5 to 1 into 5 to 2 race time, and she took time to unwind. And when she got going, she absolutely took off. She beat quite a decent field. She steps up to 2,000 meters, and this is her game. So with 53 kilos, I think she's going to shorten in the market. Time Flies for me to win.
All right, yep, time certainly does fly. Can you believe it? We're already halfway through January into 2023, and between myself and Daryl, we're still trying to scrum some money together to punt. But having a look at this race, what do you like, Daryl? Jokes aside, I think it's an open race. Obviously, there's a few horses that have got ability.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to knock this filly, Time Flies. I mean, she's a 4-year-old daughter by Dynasty. She's improving with racing, and the progeny by Dynasty only get better with time and experience. So, yeah, you got a improving staying filly, more to come. So she'll be doing her best work late. But to have a look at on paper now, strictly what paper says over here, Brandon. This number 10, Black Silver, is 4 kilograms better off with Time Flies, right? For length and 3/4 beating. Now, who rode Black Silver last time out? Richard Fourie. Now, on paper, this puts her right alongside Time Flies. There shouldn't be anything separating Time Flies and Black Silver. But then he's opted to ride Bye Bye Bombshell, who on papers had the best preparation leading into this race. Having a peak run, now Richard jumps aboard her. I think that tells you that she must be in with a chance over here. So I'm not ruling her out. I think she's a big runner, number 7, Bye Bye Bombshell. And then Gold Poker Game, she's unexposed of this trip. She's only got 53 to shoulder. Gareth aboard because Aldo can't do the weight. If she sees out the extra, if she appreciates it, she's a big runner. So I'll make it a little bit more trickier than what Darren does. But Time Flies, you know, like I said, it's hard to knock her chances.
Yeah, it does look to be an open race. I don't think you can leave out Evening Primrose either. Really won a good race last time out. So let's go and see what we're doing in terms of selections. I see Darren Burrows, short and sweet. He's gone win on number 9, Time Flies. That's your current favourite at the moment. And if you are going to be striking this one on the nose, get involved. Darren's been in good form, and the current price is 33 to 10. The lucky last. Hopefully we can get out of jail over here. 2 to 1 favourite. To wrap up proceeding is Steinbeck. Richard Fourie rides for Justin Snaith. 1 Aeneas is at 9 to 2. 4 Royal Watch at 5 to 1. The 7 Night Rulers at 5 to 1. It's 11 to 2 and Better Bar those. Darren, help us. It's the last race. We need to make some money. This was Steinbeck. I know you've always been a big fan. Is it a good bet at 2 to 1?
He's a massive runner. He was narrowly beaten by Imilenza Yokododuma and Royal Watch last time out. Now, touching on Royal Watch, this horse had ability early, and I thought he was going to train into quite a smart sort, and he didn't quite produce what I thought he would. But last time out, he absolutely took off to beat Steinbeck. And I think he's a massive runner once again. So I'm not going to split numbers 4 and 8. Followed by number 7.
Okay, yeah, I think Steinbeck is probably where punters will be leaning towards. I think this sort of trip of 2,000 metres is going to be right up his alley. He was doing some good work at the finish last time out. Daryl, you agree with me? He's always been a nice horse. Justin Snaith has always mentioned the fact that he's a nice horse, and surely over 2,000 metres going to be a big runner.
I think this is finally the distance that he's going to be best over. The reason why I'm tipping him, Brandon, on paper, there's going to be nothing separating himself and Royal Watch once again. But I think he hit the front a touch too soon in his later start. he likes to be held up. You can see in his penultimate start when he ran against Emilienza Yokotoduma, he only got into that race very late and he was actually closing in the latter stages. So I think Richard, you'll see this time round, wait until he can see the whites of the judges' eyes, let him go, and hopefully he finally shows us what he's capable of. So I do make Royal Watch his biggest danger. I wouldn't be shocked to see Royal Watch confirm that form, but I am leaning towards Steinbeck.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Steinbeck, 2,000 meters. This is probably where I'd be leaning towards, hoping that Richard Fourie can get the job done for us for Justin Snaith. Let's go and see what we're doing in terms of selections. Daryl Marie also going win on Steinbeck. Current price is 2-1, and I firmly believe by race time this will shorten up.